a little bit earlier. Did I misspell the kingdom? I swear I'm not doing this intentionally. You know, there used to be a tactic back in the day. The old internet was a little bit different than the one we're using earlier. And a lot of people were extremely upset about misspellings. And so one of the ways that you could get clickbait was to misspell your title, just like a tiny letter, and you would have people clicking the video. Like, this is how autistic people were. They would have clicked the video in order to leave a comment and say that it is misspelled. And so you'd get an additional 5% traffic increase. I'm not kidding. Like, we as YouTubers, we got statistics, we got various charts that show us engagement. And it was shown that every time you misspell the video, you'd get like a 5% increase. Now, the thing was that you're not supposed to do it often, because if you do it often, like, people catch up. So, like, you'd misspell it every now and then. You'd have content creators doing it. I wasn't one of them. No, like, me no speaking English. Like, I'm genuinely making these spelling errors because I'm English second language. The Archcast is streaming. Well, he should choose a different hour. I'm going to steal people from him, because this is the hour when I stream, and I'm going to stream over him like a Chad. I heard that he actually had Sargon on. Like, that was interesting. I should actually watch that particular video. We're going to talk a little bit about Red Note. The reason I like talking about the subject a little bit more is because China apparently wants to separate the Americans from the Chinese people. They don't want the Chinese people to be contaminated by America's feminism and LGBT. At least this is the thing that they're saying. But the fun is going to be over. Like, I found it absolutely hilarious and entertaining to see how Americans are acting with Chinese people. The reason is that up until now, you had like the Great Firewall of China. And it was very, I mean, it wasn't impossible, right? Like, someone could install a VPN and talk to Americans, but it was very rare that you'd actually find a Chinese person living in China and get to talk to them about stuff. And so, like, for the first time ever, you have, like, the large quantity of people from the United States, millions of young people interacting with millions of Chinese, and the type of community that was formed, like, the type of engagement was very interesting. I wouldn't say that Chinese people are based. They're not demoralized. Like, that's the thing, right? Because I tried understanding this from a propagandistic point of view. Like, I didn't try to cast moral judgment. I just tried to understand what's going on. And you have a country like America. This is something that Chinese people did offer as a critique to Americans, and I think it actually sticks. A lot of critique can come from the outside, right? An American asked, like, can you tell us a stereotype that Chinese people view of Americans? And they expected, you know, like, oh, you're going to like guns or you're fat. But no, what Chinese people said is, like, you live in a corporation. And I was like, holy shit, that actually stings. Like, what does you live in a corporation mean? It means that you don't really have a focus on a nation state, right? Like, no borders, bring massive immigrants. Like, your country is an economic zone, right? Like, it's not based on an ethnicity. It's not based on a culture. It's just a plot of land where transaction happen, and your effort is to increase the GDP even at the expense of everyone else. Now, again, the funny fact is that it can be applied to China in some places, but the critique is one that does stand. It's a critique of globalism, basically. Like, it's a critique of this new neoliberalist mindset where humans are replaceable cogs in a machine. Like, people are human resources, and you don't really care about satisfying the taxpayer, but you actually care about increasing the GDP and pleasing wealthy elites, right? And it's true, like, countries are incorporated as companies too. But yeah, no, that was something that I found interesting. V, I hope you're doing well. Hope you were able to find your gaming African American last time. No, I gave up. Glad you like the Alice magazine cover. I love it. See, the thing is, American Outlier is an African American gentleman, and they released a new character, Mai, in Street Fighter. And I was like, I want to play Street Fighter. Like, who do I play with? And the correct answer is an African American. Like, they like fighting games. Turns out American Outlier doesn't. So the stereotype ended up in a massive disappointment. It was like my interaction with Americans, you know, like the same way Americans interact with Chinese people. I interacted with Americans and I found disappointment. You guys disappoint people around the world, it seems. Jesus. Anyway, learn Street Fighter, all right? Undo my disappointment. It is not too late, American Outlier. You can still change. You can still learn how to play Street Fighter and then play with me, and I'll be like, okay, my stereotype was fulfilled. Can I even show this on stream? No, I can't show your comic book on stream. I can't show your Alice Schniedler on stream because she is displaying too much ass, and there's very little for the imagination that YouTube would have me banned. So, just come here and we got sunshine in abundance. All right, let's listen to a roast that Chinese people gave and debunk the roast, right? Because like this is important. I think I'm going to make like more videos trying to debunk what Chinese people are saying because a lot of Americans believe it and they have absolutely no rebuttal to it, and I think that's actually problematic. The other problem is like whenever I show what's happening, like I got like very negative messages on my previous videos. Like there were people saying that it's like, what's wrong with me? I have fallen, and it's like, dude, this event happened. It's reported on the New York Times. It's reported on Fox News. It's reported on CNN. Like, it's an event that happened. I didn't encourage anyone to go on any app, right? And I went to the app, I got some posts, and I showed them on a video. Like, what exactly am I doing wrong? But apparently, like, if you actually show the interaction between Americans and Chinese, like, some people will get upset. It's like, you're doing Chinese propaganda. It's like, no, the problem is that this isn't even Chinese propaganda. Your country demoralized your citizens. Like, they made you believe that America is systemically racist, that imperialism is awful, that no border is a good thing, that being a nationalist is like being a Nazi, right? So you have like this mindset where when you actually go and you talk with a country that is nationalistic and they're not demoralized, at least not in this regard, yeah, you have no way to tackle that. This is not Chinese propaganda. Like, this would happen even if you were to talk with Russians. Like, if Americans were to talk with any country, actually, with any country that is doing well, because, like, that's an important thing. Like, Americans still value wealth, right? Like, the GDP. That is one of the things that the elites in Washington still want the citizens to believe. Like, the GDP is important. So, like, if you were to talk with another nation that's rich, from the Middle East, for instance, if you're to talk with the Sauds, or if we're to talk with Qatar, or even Israel, right? And they would start roasting you, a lot of citizens wouldn't have the arguments because they're grown in a way where you have to appreciate everything that's foreign, you have to hate everything that's domestic, and you gotta believe that your country is systemically racist, and capitalism is evil. And this is why it sticks, and this is why it looks like propaganda. It's not. Like, it's just an actual interaction between two groups of people. It's just that one is demoralized. Now, the good news is that you can moralize your children. Like, you can vaccinate your children against this type of rhetoric. But the ones that already went on red note, it's going to be very difficult to indoctrinate them. Like, let's look at one of these interesting things, right? And let's see if we can debunk them, and let's see if I can do it without getting criticisms and attacks that I'm promoting Chinese propaganda. The US government is really funny. What is there to steal from Americans' data? I can't afford to eat, I can't afford to drink. Do I need to see how many shifts they work every day? Do I need to know if his shoes are stolen outside every day? I need to know that he is in the supermarket. Do you have to lock even an eye cream in the cabinet? What do I need these for? Okay, so the problem with this is that some criticism is legit. Like in California, they do lock certain things in the cabinet. Why is this happening? Well, it's not an American culture, right? It's something that Americans are actually fighting against. And it's not systemic to the United States as a whole. It's particular to places that are liberal cities. And so the problem is that when Americans are watching this, instead of like using it as a warning, like, look, if we allow the ideology that took root in liberal cities to take root everywhere, we're going to be the laughing stock of the world. Like, we're going to be the clown car of world politics. And I'm sorry to say this, but like California specifically is the clown car of American politics, including the world politics. Like, the idea that you need to have compassion for criminals at the expense of the victims is mentally fucked. The idea of defunding the police is the driver of the clown car. Like, no, you do not need to defund the police. Like, that is absolutely insane. Ridiculous. And it's true that China also funded some of these initiatives. But it's also true that American politicians took the body for those initiatives. And the people put up with it. Like, the person on the ground shouting, defund the police, he wasn't paid by the Chinese. He genuinely believed it. And the reason he believed it is, well, I wouldn't say lack of education. Like, lack of education is an interesting way to put it, because it means as if the person didn't go to school. No, he went to school. That's the problem. He went to school in California. That's the problem, right? Like, when you say lack of education, nowadays in 2025, is that he did went to school. That's the problem. When he was told that criminals are victims of society, and America is racist by incarcerating people, so on and so forth, right? So eventually you end up with people having so much compassion for criminals and no compassion for the victims that society becomes the victim. And you go in California, you go into places, and you see that the stores are locked up. Like, you go into a convenience store and all the product is behind the glass. Why is that? It's not normal, by the way. But it's not reflective of America as a whole. Like, if you go in other places, you go in Vermont. They don't do that in Vermont. You know, you go into a small town. They don't do that in a small town. And so, like, the problem isn't American culture. The problem is that this ideology that was sprung recently, which didn't exist in the past. Well, actually, it did. No, sorry, my bad. It existed during the Cold War era, because the Soviets were trying to push it. This ideology needs to be combated. Like, every person that goes like defund the police or is siding with the criminals on TikTok, they need to be humiliated and mocked in public. Because they want America to become the laughing stock. Like, you're going to have Chinese people laughing at your way of life. And Americans don't like that way of life either. Like, just so you can understand, like, this is not about the Chinese. There's another video. There's this guy on YouTube that is Italian. And his entire YouTube channel is traveling around America and visiting various communities and trying to show their way of life. So, like, he visited the Jewish community in New York and show, like, how they live. They visited the Chinatown and showed how they live. And they also visited the Amish. Hello, Paul. Visited the Amish. And they showed the Amish how they live. And this was, like, the peak pandemic period, right? And it turns out that all the Amish were chill. Like, none of them were panicked. None of them were hysterical about the pandemic. They were all very cool about it. And so, when they were told that in New York you can actually steal less than $1,000 worth of goods and the police isn't allowed to chase you, the Amish were horrified. Like they said, you can't live like this. Like, you can't build a civilization like this. And they said this is what happens when they lost touch with God. Right? So, like, I just want you to imagine, like, you have this interaction. And I think you can still find it on YouTube. But it's like this Amish gentleman, he's sitting on a bench, right? Talking with other Amish people. He's very chill about it. You know, like, he doesn't watch TV. He doesn't have, like, the same access to the news that you and I do. He probably knows about the news in his community, but, like, he doesn't know world affairs at the same level that Americans do. And you have, like, this guy, you know, like, this journalist coming up, and he wants to talk to you, and then he agrees. And then they find out that's like, okay, in California, you can actually steal $1,000. Like, just so you can understand, right? Like, from the perspective of an Amish who plows the field, and his belongings are probably a barn, a couple of horses, and his manufactured goods. $1,000 is an insane sum of money. Like, $1,000 is probably what he makes in a month after selling the crops that he harvested and he worked and he toiled a quarter of a year to accomplish, right? So, like, you're telling him, yeah, you can steal that money, and the cops won't chase you. And he's just like mind fucked. It's like, what do you mean? Like, no, that you can't live like this. That's literally what he said. You can't live like this. And so, like, this criticism should be internalized, I think. Because, again, I don't think it's reflective towards the American people. I don't think the American people want it. But you tried it differently, and we saw what happened. And maybe it shouldn't have been tried. The reason I even have my channel, by the way, and I make the videos, is that so that people from Romania can see some of the mistakes. And it's like, this is what happens when you're soft on crime. This is what happens when you allow... Very rarely do I use this word, when you allow. But like this, I think, is one of the cases where you should use it. When you allow people to push an ideology that shows nothing but compassion to criminals, but disdain and marginalization towards the victims. If you think that criminals are a victim to society, then society becomes the victim. I will talk about Kingdom Come Deliverance in a bit. Thank you, Paul Demak, for the membership. Now, the interesting question, why do Chinese need people's data, right? Because, like, this is the essence of the argument. It's like, why do I need people's data? She doesn't know, right? And she starts mocking Americans. She's basically roasting Americans. And as you can see, like, other Americans are the ones that are promoting this, and they're saying the roasting is relentless. So Americans like the roast. Okay. The reason Chinese people need the data is for AI. For those of you who haven't followed international politics, I don't cover it as much on my channel, but I do manage to keep in touch with it. Right now, China is terrified that they're losing the AI race. And I know they're terrified not because of what they're posting, right? Because like they're an authoritarian state, which only lets some propaganda get out. But I know they're terrified based on how they're acting. So the way they're acting is that they're trying to convince people to remove the copyright law when it comes to AI. Because they can't compete, right? So like they want the European Union, for instance, to remove copyright laws so that they can make their own AI. So to answer, what do they need the data from Americans? Well, they need the data to create their AIs. Like, how do you think an AI learns how humans' emotions are? Well, by seeing footage, videos of people smiling, getting angry, getting upset. Where do they get the data from? The Chinese app. How does an AI know how to translate? How does an AI know how to form sentences? By listening to people. Where do they get it from? The Chinese app. And so when you're asking, like, what do we need these data for? To make AI. Why is AI important? Well, predominantly military. To also use it in various companies. Like, you can use it in the banking sector now. Corporations that make entertainment and use it to produce money and wealth. That's why you need AI for it. And in order to get it, you need people's data. Now, from the perspective of the individual American, your data being harvested isn't going to affect your life. Like, you're still going to have the exact same life, right? Like, you don't actually... It's not like $500 were stolen from your bank account. It's not like the data is going to be... I mean, it may actually be used to blackmail you, but, like, with the TOS of Red Note, I doubt, like, you can do or say something there that's any different than if you say or do something on Facebook. No, the problem is that Americans are nationalistic oriented. Like, they do not have the patriotic mindset after decades of democratic rule that told them that America is systemically racist. And so, if people only care about themselves, and they're like, so what if my data is stolen? It won't affect me. The reality is it won't, right? But if you don't have, like, nationalistic pride, if you don't want America to be number one and to be able to outcompete China in everything, not just militarily, but economically, in AI, and technology, and all that, then you're not going... Like, let's look at it in reverse, right? Let's see what happens in reverse. I think, like, there was... Canada, maybe? I forgot the exact criticism and how it started. But I remember, like, someone insulted Huawei. Like, someone insulted the Chinese brand of smartphones. I forgot if it was Canada or the United States. But what ended up happening is, like, there were videos on the internet with Chinese people destroying their iPhones. Like, they would literally film themselves smashing their iPhones. And Americans were baffled. It's like, well, an iPhone is expensive. Why are you smashing it? Like, how dumb must you be? Why are they? Because they only viewed the world through the materialistic lens. Like, they only view the world. You paid money for that. Why are you doing it? It doesn't make any sense. Like, you're losing money. It makes sense if you're looking at it from a patriotic point of view. It makes sense if you're looking at it as they're doing this to send a message that they dislike what America did to their Huawei phone, and in return, they will never buy an iPhone again. By smashing the iPhone and showing it to other people, they're basically saying that not only are they not going to buy an iPhone, but they will shame and attack others who do. Right? So, like, you create this cultural zeitgeist where no one is going to want to show their iPhone in public, which is going to encourage more people to buy Huawei, and in exchange, you're going to cause Apple's stock to drop. This doesn't exist in America. They have absolutely no such equivalent, right? Like imagine a situation where Americans would destroy Chinese cars in a form of protest or Chinese whatever. It just doesn't exist. And the funny thing is, like, at the time, if you tried it, if you actually did try to destroy Chinese products in America, you'd be called a racist. Just so you understand, like, I remember during COVID, like, America bent itself backwards to change the name from the China virus, which is how the disease was initially branded, into COVID. That is Chinese propaganda. Like, the Democrats actually helped you accomplish Chinese propaganda, because now in China, people are convinced that the virus comes from America. They're convinced that you guys had a lab in Wuhan that was under Obama, and you guys made the virus, and you guys released it in China and then in the other places of the world. And the propaganda works perfectly because it's not called the China virus, it's called COVID. Why did the Democrats care so much? Why did they got so involved? Like, even if it was false, right? Even if it was their virus, why would you damage your own nation's PR at the world stage like this? Wild. And then you have, like, the Z variant, right? So you had, like, the Alpha variant, the Beta variant, the Delta. And then when it came to the Z variant, again, America went like, no, we're not going to call it the Z variant. We're going to call it the new variant. And so when you realize that your own politicians are in bed with the Chinese, in some cases literally, a lot of it starts to make sense. It's almost like they're priming people for the indoctrination. American outlier. Where I live, the Walmart started sales representative lock, meaning I need a sales representative to unlock it. I was getting an item that you could easily pull off the rack, but need a sales representative to do so. Even the sales representative was annoyed by this, and we had like 2% of the crime. This is what... well, first of all, thank you for the $50. That's a very generous donation. I really appreciate it. But secondly, this is what happens when you have large companies. Like, they don't really have the time or the energy or the resource to actually check which place has, like, low crime, and then they get accused of racism. And so they just, like, blanket state everything. I do understand that it's incredibly annoying. Like, your job as a sales representative is already straining as it is. To also have to go with every single customer and give them the stuff from... Jesus Christ. SRC Maker. US-American patriots did that. We burned our own Nikkeis over certain protests in counter-protests. I never saw that, though. Like, this must have been before my time. But, like, if that happens, then yeah, like, you guys, like, actually get it. Like, you people actually get it. I think, like, there was a scandal. Oh, yeah, no, hold on. There was a scandal. I think it was connected to the NBA, where a couple of NBA players were forced to apologize because of the shoes. But I didn't know, like, Americans burned any shoes. So the whole thing is, like, the reason that NBA players would never badmouth China, ever. And, in fact, like, they would apologize. They would go, like, on these cringe apology tours, is because a lot of the shoes that are manufactured in China. And so, like, NBA players get a percentage of the sales. And it's basically like, you know, you get to buy the Michael Jordan shoe, right? You got the Nikkei that has the name Michael Jordan. And so he gets a cut from that. But it only happens as long as he plays ball, because like the shoes are manufactured in China, and at any point China is the one that can cut his contract, right? So like they care more about the body than they care about patriotism. Now that is one thing my grandpa, a World War II vet, taught me, and this is the best country I can be: to go from rural poverty to a good paying job by hard working and smart choices. You seen my big ass US flag. That is absolutely true, right? Like America has a very strong social mobility where you can be born in poverty and you can become rich, but the other way around is also possible. Like you can become wealthy and all of a sudden you can become destitute. I don't know how it's like in China. I think it depends. Like there are some places where things are good and there are some places where things are bad. The problem with Red Note is that a lot of Americans that are middle class interacted with some upper middle class to higher class Chinese people. And so that's why you get to be shocked by the wealth they're having, because you're not interacting with like the peasant, with the guy from the rural community, with the political dissident. You're interacting with the creme de la creme. Which is why I couldn't help you, because I'm not an African American, I'm American. And Elon and Spoon is more African than me, unironically. I see what you did there, but I don't buy it. No, like, if you're a person of color, as the woke say, and you're from America, you're good at fighting games. Like, I guarantee to you, you played the tutorial and you're going to kick my ass, despite the fact that I played the game for a couple of months. Pronounces Nike as Nike is the way it's pronounced, man. We burned our own Nikes over certain protests. So you have the Butlerian Jihad. I don't think he gets the joke. I think he gets the joke with the Butlerian Jihad, but I don't think he knows what the Nikkei is. Pay slaves a penny per pair of shoes and sell them to suckers for $200. I mean, isn't that absolutely beautiful? Like you get to have sweatshops, right, which produce shoes for pennies, and then you sell them to Americans and you attach a brand. You attach the brand of Michael Jordan and you sell them for $200, and then you also get to control Michael Jordan so that he says whatever he wants. Like, isn't that peak IQ level? Huh? See, I wonder why America doesn't pull shit like this. Like, you could get so much soft power just by doing this, but by making contracts with poor people from Africa and then get them to parrot American values. Every country is good at fighting games. It just depends the kind of fighting game. Don't challenge a Brazilian to King of Fighters if you want to win. Is that a thing, though? I'm looking at fighting game competitions. It's usually Asians that win. Like, okay, I'm not kidding now. Like, this is something that, I don't know if it's racist. It's just an observation, okay? And everyone in the chat that plays fighting games should be able to tell me if I'm right or not. Every single fighting game, when you have a competition, you will notice that there's two people that are winning constantly. Constantly. You have Asian people. And I can explain why Asian people win. It's because most of these games are first released in Asia. Or at least they used to be. Like right now, I'm not sure. But like you would have Street Fighter. And Street Fighter would be released in Asia on the arcades. And it would be there for like 6 months before it's released overseas. So the reason people from Asia would win competition is because they had 6 months in advance to play and train on the game. But then you also have Americans. And not just any Americans, black people. Like black people in America predominantly win these EVO tournaments. Like they're winning at Street Fighter, they're winning at Mortal Kombat, they're winning at everything. And I don't fucking know why, because when you look at the pool of contestants, when people that join the fighting game competitions, like you have people from all walks of life. You got white people, you got Asians, you got Americans, you got black people, right? You got Mexicans, you got everything. But consistently, almost entirely, it's black people that win the championship. And I just don't understand why, because it's a video game where you use a controller. right? Like, it's not like it's a competition of strength or speed or agility or anything like that. It's so fucking weird. Which ones do Romanians win? We never had like a strong gaming community here. But I think like Counter-Strike would be the answer. Here's another fascinating thing. Different countries are good at different games. So like if you look at South Korea, they had an extremely strong StarCraft culture. Like an entire culture, like it was on their main television. They would show people playing StarCraft, and it went to the point that if you were playing StarCraft and you were matched with a Korean, like the moment you saw the squiggly letters, you might as well Alt F4. Like if you saw a Korean that's bronze, he was probably gold. If you saw one that's gold, he was probably Master League. I don't understand why that is. Counter-Strike is the Russians and the Chinese. Every single fucking time. You see Counter-Strike competitions, it's either a Russian team or a Chinese team. Let's see what else. Counter-Strike, Eastern Europeans. Polish people, Russian people. A lot of Russians, though. I don't think it has to do with internet connection. Because, like, when you're playing these games, you're playing them live, right? You're playing them with other people, so there's no lag. Like, you're literally there. You're making a LAN. I'll talk about Woke Kingdom in a bit. The Red Book app is Trojan horse. Just wait until the app bricks the American phones for going against the party line. Just watch This Means War. I don't think so. I mean, can it be a Trojan horse? Probably. But I don't think like they're going to try to brick your phone. Because most Americans switch their phones once every 1 or 2 years. So, like, there's no real advantage in bricking your phone. No, like, they're getting a lot of advantage from the soft power and the data they're harvesting. Right? Like, the idea of bricking someone's phone, unless you're Israel and you're selling, what was it? Pagers that explode. Like, that's different. But, like, most Americans, they change their phones every year or two. So, like, even if, like, the app itself would brick your phone, the moment you change your phone, that's it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure with this. Like, I'm willing to put money on this. And not to mention, it's on the App Store, right? So, like, if it had Trojan horses and stuff like that, then it would probably be Apple's responsibility. Like, they're liable for lawsuits and shit. No, like, I do think they're going to steal your data, absolutely. Like, they're going to harvest, even when you sign up on the app, like, you're consenting to this. You're consenting that you're going to give everything you post there is their intellectual property, right? So, your face, your talking points, if you play a video game, everything. And the reason for it is that they want to make their AIs. And it's also the political aspect of it, right? Like the diplomacy, like getting Americans to believe that China is superior. I mean, what Chinese diplomat wouldn't want to accomplish that? This app made more than all the Chinese diplomats did and tried to do in the last 10 years. Yeah, it's not stealing. It's the user license agreement. Like, it literally tells you. It literally tells you when you sign up. But it tells you in Mandarin, so, well... But you can't blame it. Like, it literally tells you that your data is theirs. Anyway, let's talk about Kingdom Come Delivery. I'll also make a video on my secondary channel talking about it. What is Kingdom Come Delivery? Hold on, let me bring up the game. I think, like, American Outlier would like it. Chat, we gotta make American Outlier to play video games. I don't know how to do it, but, like, I'm pretty sure if all of us pull our resources together, we can manage. Okay, I think I found it. Right, so Kingdom Come Delivery actually did get into a controversy when the first game was created. The first game, it actually happened, I think it's like more than 10 years now, isn't it? But anyway, they were accused for not having diversity, right? And so the reason that it didn't have diversity was due to the fact that it's supposed to be a medieval-inspired historical game. It's not historical in the sense of the story itself. It's historical in the sense of how people dress, how people act, how people behave, the buildings, the culture, the text that you find in the game. They mention history. It's kind of like enough to stimulate someone to read more about history stuff, right? Like you're playing the game, you're enjoying the world in it, and you're like, okay, well, this is kind of cool. Like, let's read more about it, right? It's that type of game. And so Kotaku attacked the publisher by saying that they don't have diversity. And the publisher said, it's like, well, this game takes place in a certain time period in medieval Europe. And unfortunately, they didn't have planes for people from Africa to fly into the Schengen area at the time. And Kotaku was livid, and they were trying to push for, like, random historical shit. It's like, oh, but what about the Moors? Like, the Moors exist. It's like, shut the fuck up. There's no black people here. And gamers actually really liked the company, right? Because they managed to stand up to a bully. And the fact that they were trying to actually maintain historical authenticity in a time where Assassin's Creed was trying to show that you can have a woman in ancient Greece. And no one cares that she's a woman. She's just like a androgynous creature that can hover on a horse, and no one even flirts with her because she has no sexuality, like in the mind of the Assassin's Creed developers, no woman does, right? And so that was the first game. Now, the second game got itself into a controversy because it got banned in Saudi Arabia. And so the question is, like, why did it get banned in Saudi Arabia? That's very interesting. Well, it got banned in Saudi Arabia because it has a homosexual scene that players cannot skip. So I love the fact that the Saudi Arabians, like, they will say, look, we're fine with boot sex, but when you press that space bar, we want the boot sex to disappear. And because Kick the Cop Delivery forces people to see the boot sex, the thing is there. Now, what's interesting about it, what do you mean no it didn't? Yes, it fucking did. Read it up. Thank you, SRC Baker. And thank you, Ram, as well. I will not stop lying, Koopa. I will continue to lie until you get demoralized. Let me check. Hold on. I'm going to ask Grok. Am I being gaslighted by the entirety of Twitter, but the one man in the chat brings the truth? Like, is this what's happening? Is everybody on Twitter telling me that Saudi Arabia has banned this game and I have been living a lie for the last couple of days? Did Kingdom Come got banned in Saudi Arabia? I swear to God, I was in the middle of the zone. Like, in my head, I was compounding the knowledge of mankind and trying to explain to people the story. And I see you in the chat going, no, V, everything is wrong. And if it's a technicality, I will tell Melody Mag that you're a sinner, so she prays for you. So you get that chick up your fucking ass with her moralistic tendencies. And so you can too suffer for interrupting my perfect little rant on a fucking technicality. Let's see. Did Kingdom Come get banned in Saudi Arabia? There have been reports suggesting that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 may have been banned in Saudi Arabia due to content involving unskippable gay scenes. However, these claims are based on rumors from certain gaming outlets and posts on social media. So the rumors are coming from Tech for Gamers, GameRant.com, and 2 other publications, as well as posts from social media. Alright. Well, this changes everything. Holy shit, my entire argument has collapsed. It doesn't fucking matter if it got banned or not in Saudi Arabia. The reaction to the fucking ban is what matters. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, let me correct myself. Hold on, I've been fact-checked. Community noted. See, this is why I have a chat and I don't give it disabilities. I'm going to community note myself. People were led to believe that the game was banned in the mystical lands of Saudi Arabia. But we do not know if the information is accurate or not. However, the misinformation lingers like a poisonous cloud upon the gaming community, polluting the minds of the sane Americans, their hearts being led astray by the evil game journalists. And so the question arises, Does the game contain scenes of homosexuality or not? We don't know. We don't know. And this is the problem. Like, this is what I was wanting to get. I was wanting to get to this point, but like now you changed the past. Now the introduction was different. People have accused the game developers of pushing unskippable gay propaganda. And the game developers came out and they said, look, you gotta trust us, okay? You gotta trust us. And they gave like this very vague, ambiguous statement saying that the game is exactly what I want it to be. No one has tried to influence me as an artist in any way. And anyone who knows me knows I wouldn't let them away. Every character in the game has a very clear reason to be there and why they are, blah, blah, blah. At the same time, it is a role-playing game, so it is purely up to the player what decisions they make, and for all the decisions they make, blah, 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 blah. So basically, they're not saying if it has gay propaganda or not. They're just saying it's like, look, no one forced me to do anything. It's interesting, right? Like, the accusation is like, do you have the gays in there? No one forced me to do it. Okay. Now, here's my take. I think this is an excellent opportunity for trolling. Like, this is a beautiful opportunity for trolling. I went on Twitter, and I typed the following. I said, I'm not buying it. And this got Canadians pissed the fuck off. I don't know why. But I know they're Canadians, because I looked at their flags. And it had a leaf in it. And it's like, okay. They got really upset. And I was like, but do you not like homosexuals? Do you not? And I'm like, look, I like homosexuals. I like you, right? And I like your dad. I do like homosexuals. It's just that I don't want to pay to see them kissing, you know? I said, do you know how upset they get if you say that? Even though, like, I don't really mean it. I don't care. I'm probably going to buy the game. But I'm just lying to piss them off. Why would anyone do that? Can you imagine lying on the internet to upset people? It's like, I don't want to buy the game. Why? Well, it may have homosexuals in it. What do you mean you don't buy? You have to buy it. But why though? It's not like it's an entertainment. It's a product made for entertainment, right? Seeing gay people kiss is not entertaining for me. Why do I need to spend money on it? No, you have to. But why? And they really get upset. They will call me homophobic. And it's like, okay, so in order not to be homophobic, do I need to make the pledge of allegiance to corporations? Like, do I need to go to multi-million-dollar corporations and be like, here's my money? It's interesting. It's almost like you can design an entire system based around that, right? So, like, whatever product you make, you put a rainbow flag on it, and if people don't buy it, they're homophobic. And as such, people have to buy it now. Like, they have to buy everything, right? As long as it has a rainbow flag. Well, that's such an interesting economic system. Holy shit. But anyway, my take on this, like, if you want to hear my actual take on whether or not I like the fact that it's got LGBT themes in it. I think that the first game had LGBT themes in it, didn't it? Like, there was this gang of bandits, if I remember correctly. It was this gang of bandits, and you find out that they were gay. And they were in the woods making orgies and stuff. So, if you have gay people in the game, but it's inherently consistent with the world, right? And the world is a medieval society. And gay people are treated the way you would expect in a medieval society, which is pretty similar to how they're being treated in the Middle East now. And you're making a compelling story built around that, that's fine. Like, I'm not against it. That's okay. It is the culture, though. It's like the market is a little bit super saturated with it because it's 2025, right? And every single game, it feels like has the checkbox in order to persuade people to buy the product because otherwise they're homophobic argument. But if you're actually capable of making a good story that's inclusive in the world that you're presenting, go for it. Now, at this point, I just want one game without gays in it. See, that's also an interesting talking point. The market is super saturated. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, there used to be the same talking point back when all female characters in video games had massive tits. And people were saying, like, I just want one video game where women don't have massive tits. Because, like, literally everything had that. And so, like, this is the same thing. It's like, well, can we have one single video game where you just have, like, heterosexual romances and no gay scenes? And the answer is no. But at the end of the day, you know, I don't judge people how they spend their money. Like, I think if you work for your money and you're capable of earning cash, you should be able to spend it however you like. If you don't want to buy a game for whatever reason, don't fucking buy it. At the end of the day, it's the job of the company to sell you the game. It's not your job to buy it. You have to understand that Vavra is the messiah of the Czech gamer. If you did not play his games, you cannot call yourself a gamer here. There is none more trusted than the Czech gamer than him. Well, see, here's the problem now. Apparently the controversy died down, right? Like, he came up, he said that you just gotta trust us. Like, no one is forcing us to do anything. It's going to be fine. And the controversy died down. But, like, when I go up on Steam today, this is how their page looks like. Yesterday, trust us. Today, new code of conduct. You're all bigots. Get woke, go broke. Was hyped for the game, but you ruined it for me. Devs, please conform with the Saudi says. Please conform with the Saudi says. Let it be known that I will not buying due to recent events. Who assigns game tags? Wishlist remove. Is it real or not? Careful who you make friends with. Bigots being upset. Banned in Saudi Arabia. Everyone losing their damn mind. Warhorse Studio response to King the Counterfeit. So what the fuck happened? What the fuck happened? Like, how did it change from yesterday where people were like, okay, you know what? Like, let's give it a chance. Let's, you know, let's see where it goes. Well, apparently, they hired the community manager from hell, born into the pits of California, where she fostered her hatred towards gamers, and now she is plotting the destruction of the Czech gaming industry. Czech people, it is your responsibility. You have unleashed this monster on the internet. If you do not contain her, I will not buy your game, Czech people. The horror and dismay when you realize that the Romanian YouTuber, is choosing not to purchase your commercial product. You will have to live with it for the rest of your life unless you contain this monster, this community manager, from the spawn pits of Satan himself. Did I make that clear? Is that okay with you? Is that good enough reason for me not to fucking buy your video game? Let's see. Code of conduct, right? Like behavioral. Mommy is in the fucking room, right? If I want to buy a game, I gotta be educated. Zero tolerance for discrimination. From the Czech Republic, pushing their agenda into Romania. Racism, prejudice, or hostility based on race or ethnicity is not allowed in the Czech gaming industry. Sexism, discrimination, or hostility based on gender or sex. Homophobia and transphobia, no J.K. Rowling. Hatred or prejudice directed at the LGBTQ plus individuals. Ableism, mocking or belittling individuals that have comment sections with disabilities. Ageism, discrimination or prejudice based on someone's age. Religious discrimination, targeting individuals for their faith or lack of. Holy shit, are you keeping me safe from Melanie Mac? I'm buying the game. I'm buying the fucking game. Melanie Mac, BTFO'd. On this forum, I shall be safe from her. Can I talk about my degeneracy on this one? Can I talk about Nikkei and the First Descendant? And I don't get to have Melanie Mac? Sold! I'm buying this. I'm going to send the receipt to Melanie Mac. I'll be like, look, you sold this game to me, Melanie. Classism, judging others based on their social or economic status. Well, this goes beyond the American level. This transcends California. Colorism, bias or prejudice based on skin tone. Body shaming, get fat. Get fat, that's good and healthy, right? Is this what I have to learn? Holy shit. Sizeism, mocking someone's body. Oh, no, so it's different. Mocking someone's body shape or size. Any post, comments, or behavior perpetuating these harmful ideologies will be removed. and offenders will face swift action. Wow. So if I buy the game, do I get to pay that community manager's salary? Is that how it works? Is that how it functions? Like, do I get to support the code of conduct if I buy the game? I just need to know because I'm a decent person and I want to make a change in the world as much as I can. Nikkei would be seen as ableist. Oh yeah, like that. There's no fat Nikkeis. That's actually a problem. Like the fattest Nikkei is Oleg, right? She is not Czech, nor does she work for Warhorse. Well, how did she get into the position then? How is she able to create the code of conduct? How is she crafting the code of conduct if she's not Czech? Nor does she work for Warhorse. Like, how are we getting in a situation where I from Romania am being lectured by that lady? No, seriously, explain it to me. I'm a simple-minded consumer that has seen the HIV on my computer screen. Why am I being subjected to hostile American aggression? What have I done wrong? Warhorse work for Embracer Group. What is the Embracer Group? Huh? No, seriously, I'm asking. Like, I'm uneducated. Look, from my point of view as a customer, right? I go onto the forum of a video game that I'm expecting to buy, and I see the cancer on my screen. I don't know much, but all I know is that there is cancer. I don't know where it's coming from, but it is associated with the brand that I want to support. And so, like, I'm doing investigation right now. Convince me that I need to buy the game. Embracer Group is the investment group that brought a ton of gaming studio at the height of the DEI loans. Okay. And so you're telling me that this Czech company took money from Satan? Is this what I'm led to believe? That they have signed a pact with the devil? They sold their soul? Embracer is holding company-owned Tomb Raider, among others. I don't care if it's Swedish EA. All I care is that it displayed the cancer on my computer screen, and I want to know why. Like, who do I get to be upset for the cancer being displayed? She is like the sisterhood in Dune. Oh. Chat, I'm still not convinced. Like, there were a lot of Czech people, very loud, telling me about Vavara and gaming and shit. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. And now they're nowhere to be found. Where are you? Tell me about the code of conduct. I want to know. Like, I understand it's not about the Saudis. Like, the Saudis may not have censor. The new Saints Row game, the one that got the studio shut down after release, was owned by Embracer. Uh-oh. One of the few games featuring Christianity, but the code of conduct makes sure to make no mentions of being against discrimination or Christians. It's not one of the only... There's another game. Crusader Kings. Crusader Kings comes out, and it's like, you're not allowed to say Deus Vult. What is the game called? Crusader Kings. What you're not allowed to say? Deus Vult. Naruhodo. Wait and see policy. I mean, it's already at that level, right? It's gotta be at the level of wait and see. Because I was going to buy it on day one. However, now I am concerned. I'm not extremely concerned, right? Because I'm still buying it. Probably. But I want to see trailers first. I want to see more. I swear to God, if I see more of this controversy, if I see them attacking gamers, if I see them spiting customers, if I see the female characters looking like men, If I see the androgyny, then I'm not buying. But if it's like the first game, and this is just like a rogue community manager, and Vavara promises not to work with people like her in the future, then I will buy. That's my take. I hope my take is accurate enough. What do we got? Lumi-chan? We got Lumi-chan. Lumi-chan knows the shit. Hold on, let me bother Lumi-chan. Where's Lumi-chan? Lumi-chan. Lumi-chan! The fuck are you? Shouldn't you be with Arch? Isn't Arch streaming right now? Hold on. I'm calling her, chat. I'm calling her. You can't hear it because I didn't set this up. I didn't expect to have Lumi-chan over, but I want to bask in her wisdom and vast knowledge that she steals from the Archcast every single day. And I want to ask, how do you tolerate Dev? How do you manage? How do you listen to some of his political opinions without going absolutely gaga? She's not answering. Well, she's triggering memories from my teenage years when I was calling girls and they wouldn't answer. I hate you, Lum Lum. You're bringing back repressed memories from my childhood now. No, she's calling me. See, this never happened. I never got called by a girl when I was a teenager. Lulu, can you hear me? She probably cannot. Hold on. There's something that happened with my Discord. So, input device. It should be Yeti stereo microphone. Can you say something, Lum Lum? Lum Lum, don't be shy. I don't think we're going to be able to do this, chat. I think my audio is not ready for this level of engagement. Okay, say something now.
I am at work right now, V. I'm at my real job. I am at the warehouse right now.
What do you do at the warehouse?
I pack large orders that are about over 100 pounds. I do forklift driving and all that other fun shit.
So that you go with that little car that like lifts stuff?
Yeah.
That's so fucking cool. Did you kill someone yet with that?
No, not yet. I'm waiting for when I quit this job to go full time.
Because like in Mexico, I understand labor laws are a little bit more lax, and I see videos with accidents with that little forklift thing.
Nah, I'll go completely gloves off when I quit this place. I'll go out with a bang.
I see. So can you talk about video games while at work?
I could do a little yap because I have been getting absolutely fucking flooded with like, oh, wait, you see this? Oh, wait, you see this? I'm like, I don't care. It's like with the Saudi Arabia thing, when they first published it, it was like taking its back and people were like, oh, wow, look, it's banned. Then later on in the day, the website that published the article edited it saying, oh, no, this is speculation. These are rumors. Shit like that.
So
and then now it's right now it is unconfirmed. And then with this whole community manager thing, Horse was bought by THQ Nordic back in 2019. But we also know THQ Nordic was bought by Embracer Group. I don't know when.
Okay.
But
are they woke?
It's like, are they woke?
Yeah.
I haven't looked too much into them, but the community managers is just outsourced. They are not directly part of Warhorse.
Why aren't they firing them then?
It could just be through Steam. It could be like a whole, hey, you need to put out guidelines for your community page because this is a high-profile game. Something that I'm probably going to look into probably this weekend for the Archcast, though.
It's kind of weird because like it goes beyond what they would normally put out. Like usually you have the shit about the LGBT and the race, but like they're about class now, fat shaming. Where the fuck does that come from? Who goes on Steam to fat shame people?
You know, honestly, I think because like, granted, I'm not all brushed up in my, Prague and Czech history and stuff, but we could be seeing more leaders and usually people who are in power that. So it might be stuff with that. One of the, big bad dudes from Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 is canonically gay, so we might be seeing more of him in 2. And because again, more high profile game, more people are going to be talking about it, especially with like, you know, right now how I guess some people have been losing the plot and saying anything like, you know, someone being gay as a character is like, you know, completely woke and stuff, which is
No,
like,
I
if it's a
disagree. But
well
like,
written character, I
someone
don't.
said something interesting in the chat, and I want to take your opinion on
Mhm,
it.
mhm.
Can we have a single game, like an RPG, where nobody is gay?
I mean, we can.
Which one?
I don't see.
Give me some titles.
Um,
Exactly.
Trying to think.
Exactly.
Oh, I know, fair, but it's like, in my opinion, if it's like, you know, not a checklist and it's a well-written character where like the ident the words, the identity is not the main focus of the character's entire personality, I don't care. If it's like Dragon Age Veilguard with the whole I'm non-binary thing, fuck no.
Yeah, no, I agree with that thing, but I also agree with the fact that if someone doesn't want to buy a game for whatever reason, that's fine. Um,
Yeah, that's justified. It's like you pay what you want to play, and no one can force you to do it. It's just like with movies, TV shows, stuff like that. No one can tell you, oh, you have to buy this.
People keep asking me to ask you about the forklift. Can you do cool shit with it? Like, can you drift with the forklift?
Am I what?
Can you drift? Like, have you seen Need for Speed Tokyo Drift? Can you do that
Oh,
shit but with the
can
forklift?
I drift with a forklift?
Yeah.
No, the wheels are one too heavy. The forklift weighs as much as a car, but it's all compact. So no, I cannot drift with the forklift,
That's
unfortunately.
unfair.
But we do
Have
play
you
forklift
ever
now.
like do you risk running into customers with the forklift?
There's no customers in the warehouse. It's just all coworkers and maybe some truck drivers when they pick up their trailers.
Could you make it slide? Like if you run really fast and then you suddenly brake, like does it slide?
If the wheels are wet, yes, it is absolutely horrifying to do in the winter when snow starts to melt. And I'm carrying a like 10,000 pound pallet of like salt.
Hey, you can try it and make a TikTok video with it.
Oh yeah, I will do that. I will, you know, potentially get caught by OSHA just to satisfy you guys.
Wait, okay, so the chat is saying that you're not in Mexico.
No, I've always said that I'm in the Midwest of the United States. I have family in Mexico.
Oh, are you afraid of Trump deporting you?
I'm legal and I'm pale. It's like I'm pale enough because I'm part German to where they won't suspect me being illegal when I'm not anyway. But no, I am Aryan enough.
Okay, so basically you're going to be discriminated. Like you're not going to be treated like the prestigious H-1B visas workers. You're going to be discriminated like an American citizen.
Hey, it's okay. I'm a woman and I'm bisexual, so I'll be fine.
Anyway, Ludi, thank you for being here. Good luck handling Dev tomorrow or next weekend. When's the next Archcast?
I don't know if that's gonna be on though. I know we've been having dry bread the past couple of weeks, so
Oh,
because
he
I think Art said that he has to stick until he puts out his response videos.
wait. What happened? Like, did Arch kick the Dev?
Until he puts out his response videos towards everything, if I remember correctly. You'll have to ask Archly about that.
A response video to what though?
Everything.
No. I don't know the drama. Like,
Oh no, response video for the Kirsha thing, for the fuck, what's their names? Uh Aiden, Aylin, whatever the fuck.
oh, so like his
You know,
drama
all
caught
that
up
shit.
to him, and Arch said that until he clears the drama, he should distance from the Archcast. Is this what happened?
Not necessarily distance. Again, I don't want to speak for Archly because I really don't care about dev shit because I literally have dev short fat otaku anything that's usually related to his name muted on Twitter, so I never see it.
Holy shit! I can return to the Archcast. That's interesting. Okay, so when's the next Archcast?
Tomorrow, I think we're having Savvy on if she actually remembers this time.
Well, if you're having
And
guests,
then the
I'll
week
probably skip that week. But yeah, that's interesting. Dev trucker video. Let's go. No, it's not a trucker video. It's the drama video, I guess. See, this is
I don't know.
motivation
Again,
for
you're
Dev.
gonna
Hey,
you're gonna
Dev,
have
look,
to ask.
you can keep me off. I know you're listening, Dev. Listen, you can keep me off the Archcast, just like you can keep me off D&D. If you make the response video. So look, if you make the response video and Arch has you back, then I will still want you. You know, like this is actually something interesting. I never brought it up. You know, I'm going to bitch and cry like a woman here, but like.
Okay.
When you know, I was actually on the Archcast and I was having fun and shit, and then we have Dungeons and Dragons, and I tell Arch, it's like, look, I appreciate the offer, but like I can't do two things at the same time. I got a kid now. I gotta quit one thing and join another, right? So I'm playing D&D, and Dev fucking ruins it. He fucking ruins it, and it's after I left the Archcast, and he never apologized to this day. I'm wounded. I'm crying. Deep inside, not on the outside, because I'm a manly man. I'm a Chad. I don't cry, but still. All right, I got that off my chest. I got it off my chest.
Oh, you're fine. And it's like it was always fun when you know popped in because we don't have that much time to interact and stuff besides you showing me stuff in DM.
Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah,
also
we
talk
do.
about the Vtubing community. Like, I noticed some idols got demonetized by YouTube with no real explanation as to why.
Oh yeah, it's like there's a lot of rat yapping and everything. I don't know, maybe depending on if Dev is like, you know, not on the Archcast on the 25th. We are having Rima Evenstar on because she is a monthly guest on us.
Mm.
And if you would like to join, we could probably yap about some VTubers.
Yeah, if I'm up, I'll join. There was like another VTuber that got hit with the demonetization. Her name is Katarina.
And there's so many VTubers that have been getting demonetized lately. It's hard to keep track of all of them.
Hmm.
Oh, and also there was this Reddit post that we were reading yesterday, and I linked to a few people where this dude said, like, it was on the Am I the Asshole Reddit, and this dude was saying that his wife was a VTuber and she got accepted into an agency and everything. Didn't specify which one, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently he is being forced to sign a contract to not talk about anything about them being together, even
That's
if it's
normal,
on
yeah.
personal profiles.
Yeah, that's normal.
Like, even if it's on personal profiles and everything. Like, not Facebook, not their private Twitters or anything. So right now, a lot of people are trying to figure out, who is this? And at this point, in the direction that it's going towards, it sounds like they might get a divorce. So at this point, if he does a divorce update, we just gotta keep an eye on, keep an eye
Yeah, I
out
mean,
for any
I don't
sad
know what to
purple
say.
VTubers
Like,
suddenly.
okay, so being a VTuber for a major company can make you a millionaire, right? So like your wife can become a millionaire, or you can divorce her, because like she's not going to listen to you. Like again, the prospect is being a millionaire, right?
Oh no, it's like he said that he knows there's the massive agencies, but it's none of the massive agencies. He said that it's small, but it still has a decent call.
Well then,
So it's none of the big three.
then it's something between them. If they're going to have a
Yeah.
fight over this, then I don't think their relationship was stable from the beginning.
Yeah, it's like apparently she's being a bitch and everything, and just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll send you the post later when I'm on lunch, which is coming up soon.
It's
So
also,
I am going to
it's also
get
possible
going.
that it's Reddit, so it can be bullshit, right?
I don't know, the way that he was talking about it and the way that a lawyer was describing things to him, because he did go see a lawyer at the contract. Because the agency was telling him, no, don't go see a lawyer, just sign this.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah. So, I'm going to get going for now. It was fun, and I would love to hang out again sometime.
Thank you for coming, and I'll talk to Arch. Maybe he'll have me on the Archcast. Take care.
All right. Talk to you. Well, see you guys. All right, bye.
All right, chat. I should be going anyway. Thank you for the super chats. Hopefully you found the stream entertaining, and do check out my other channels because I'm going to upload stuff there. Take care.